was a learning platform. When I started this project, I told you guys that what I wanted it to be was a learning platform on for artificial. I want to learn artificial intelligence. I want to learn how to control how to control this vehicle using some sort of machine learning. How we can have this be a smart vehicle. How I can tell it to go to the grocery store and it takes off and goes to the grocery store on its own. Or it follows behind me. Come on, we're going to the grocery store, and off it goes. So so that's all well and fine. And yes, the craftsmanship of building it and the enjoyment of building it has been fun. But I reached another setback, yet another problem. And this one's a pretty big one. Remember in the beginning, the reason I told you the reason I was doing this project is I had this motor in this speed controller. Well, one very similar to this. And because I had such a good package, I wanted to put it in something. A friend of mine gave me the quad frame, so I thought, perfect, I'm going to marry these two together. Well, then it turned out that the speed controller, well, first of all, I thought there was something wrong with the motor at the time. So I took the motor apart before I started, and I found, yes, one of the magnets had come delaminated from its mounting plate, and they're glued on. So I kind of figured out which glue might work, and I tried something, put it on, it seemed to work. The motor spun, nothing rubbed, it was great. That's why I decided to go ahead with the project. Then we decided that the connectivity of my old speed controller might not have been working, it might have been obsolete. Since then, I got some response back from Robotech. There may be a solution to it, but by then I had bought this one. I spent lots of money and bought a new one here. Not really regretting it because I still have the other one now that I can use another project, but still, who wants to spend the money? Then the fiasco with the batteries. I bought 4 batteries and I took it out, and within 10 seconds of the first trip, realized I had bought the wrong batteries. So I bought 4 more batteries a couple days ago. I don't think I'm going to be happy with those either. There's a whole episode here on my dealing with the guy at the battery store. Very disappointing. I was really hoping for more. But now the problem is, so when I try to spin the back wheels, it feels like it's locked up. And I think what's happened is those magnets have come delaminated off the plate in the motor again. So, I tried something and it didn't work. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to see if I can get better adhesives to glue that on with. But but if it doesn't work, here's the question: do I replace that motor? I've put batteries in it, 2 sets of batteries, 2 very expensive sets of batteries. The second set of batteries was not any cheaper, and they're only lead acid. They're nothing fancy. They're just it's a lead acid. I think it's gonna have like 15 minutes of runtime. This thing when you're really hot. So, I don't know. I'm very disappointed, but I've already spent the money, and anyway, that's a whole story. The speed controller needed to be replaced. So much of the frame needed to be repaired. And now, do I buy a new motor? And I think the answer is yes. And here, let me explain. Let me set the camera. So, this is all very disappointing. I want to be better at this. I want to know that the things I do are, good look. They look good. They will work well. They have longevity. That's what quality builds are, right? You don't have to fix things. You don't have to constantly be at it. And this has been disappointing because some of these things seem out of my control and some of them don't. I probably could have done a better job of researching what glue puts the magnets on last time. It's going to cost me another couple of days. It might cost me another $1,000 to get that motor replaced. But in my travels of trying to learn things, I, like everybody else, I'm on YouTube and watching other people who build things, people I didn't know existed before YouTube. So that's kind of cool about that you get to meet other people, or you get to see what other people are working on, and you get to see how they handle disappointment. Some of the guys, yell and scream and bang and throw things around and buy a bigger jet ski. Other guys take that and they learn from it and they analyze it and they ask, why did it go wrong? For example, one guy comes to mind. For example, his name is Winter Gatan, and he's a musician. Who I'm not sure if he's an engineer, but he should be. He's building a machine that plays music by dropping marbles. And it's just this big, beautiful work of art. And he has had so many iterations of it. And because there's so many pieces on this machine, if I'm doing one repair takes days and days and days of fitting together tiny little intricate pieces. And then he finds out that whole thing was wrong, and he takes all that and he puts it in a box and says, well, this is, I learned from this box of stuff. So I think that's important for me to do too. I'm learning here. I'm learning that I should have done more research when I fixed the motor. I took what I knew about, well, this should go, and I passed this as glued metal to metal, so I should try it again. And I should have just done better research. Or, with the speed controller, maybe I couldn't have been quite so impatient. I could have waited a week or two for Robotech to get back to me. But I wanted to get it running. I want, in my haste of, I got to get this thing finished, I could have saved $1,000 on making the old one work. So I'm going to keep going on it. If the motor needs replacing, I think I'm going to buy one. I might not buy a brand new one. I might wait till one becomes available, but it's Canada. Not much happens that way here. There's not much. We don't have that same kind of maker space mentality that I think they do in the States. We don't have as many resources for it. It doesn't seem to be the DIY shops here, or that they have other places. Anytime I look for anything online that I find interesting, it's always down in the United States, or Poland for some reason, it seems. So I'm going to pull the motor apart again. I'm going to keep going. I'm just, it's disappointing, but I guess lots of people are disappointed trying to learn new things.